Get ready, because today we're going to talk about body language and how you can use it to make your characters more realistic and expressive. By the way, my name is Brandon McNulty. I'm the author of Bad Parts, also the author of Entry Wounds, and welcome to my writing channel. One of my subscribers requested a video on the topic of body language and how you can use it to enhance your character interactions, your dialogue exchanges, and other areas of your story. And the thing is, body language is such a huge topic that I could never cover it all in one video. So what I'd do today is I would simplify things and just focus on 5 specific areas of body language that you can apply to your stories right now. Most of what I'm going to discuss today is things that I learned from the book What Every Body Is Saying. This is by Joe Navarro. He's an ex-FBI agent. He interrogated a lot of people. He learned a lot about body language during his time as an FBI agent. And if you are interested in learning more about the subject, I will link to his book in the description below. But the first area of body language we're going to talk about today is the hands. And if you've ever watched any of my videos before, you know that when I'm speaking on camera, I always show my palms. And this is no accident. I do this deliberately because when a speaker shows his palms, the listener is more likely to trust him. And the reason for this goes all the way back to the earliest human interactions, back when we were cave people running around bumping into each other. And if you bumped into a total stranger who showed their palms, you were more likely to trust that person because you knew that person was not holding a weapon. On the other hand, if you bumped into a total stranger who was hiding their palms, or maybe they had their fists closed, or maybe they were hiding their hands altogether, you were more likely to be suspicious of that person because, who knows, maybe they're holding a weapon or a rock that they could bust your head open with, or whatever it is. Now, when you're writing your stories, think about how your characters use their hands, and also think about how you want to portray certain characters. If you want to portray a character as suspicious, you might have them hide their hands in their pockets or behind their back or in a purse or a bag or something. Or alternatively, you might want to portray a character as trustworthy, and in that case you would have them show their hands and have them talking with their hands and interacting with their hands at all times. Number 2 is feet. And we don't often think about feet in regards to body language, but feet tell us a lot about a person's comfort level, their interest level, and where they want to be. And if you've ever been at like a big social event, like a wedding reception, a Super Bowl party, whatever it is, you've probably seen people breaking off into different groups or pairs and having conversations. And if you look at their feet, you can tell how well that interaction is going. And say, for instance, you have 2 people talking with one another, if their toes are pointed toward each other, that means that that conversation is going pretty good. On the other hand, if one person has their toes pointed away from the other, that means that that person wants to get out of there, especially if their toes are pointed toward an exit. So always keep that in mind. Feet tell the story of how a conversation is going. You can also keep feet in mind during a dinner table scenario. Maybe you have 2 characters who go on a date together, and beneath the table, maybe the woman is kicking off her shoes, maybe she's playing with her shoes, or she's dangling her shoes off the edge of her toes. That could signal that she's having a good time, that she's relaxed. On the other hand, if her feet are planted firmly against the floor, she may be on her guard. Number 3 is physical habits and tics. I'm sure you know someone who, when they're lying, they start scratching their head, or picking at their eyebrow, or rubbing their nose, or bite their lip, or whatever it is. And maybe you've caught this person in a lie before, and you pointed out to them that, hey, I see you scratching your head, you always do that when you're lying, and then they admitted to it, or they apologized, or whatever. And you can also use this in your stories. You can have characters with certain physical habits or tics that signal that they're lying, they're uncomfortable, whatever it may be. And the key thing to keep in mind with this, however, is that you need to establish what certain habits signal. And I think this is very important if you're going to have like a character who maybe they get caught in a big lie toward the end of the story and someone accuses them of lying. You don't want them to be scratching their head for the first time at that late stage in the story when they're lying. You want to plant the seeds early on, maybe have them telling a smaller lie, and maybe they're like, yeah, I did take the garbage out, before they say like, okay, no, I definitely did not hide the body behind the garage. So keep that in mind. If you are going to use these types of habits, you need to establish them. Number 4 is the torso. And the key thing to keep in mind with the torso is which direction it's leaning in. If you have a character and they're leaning towards someone, they probably like that person or they agree with what the person is saying. On the other hand, if you have a character and they're leaning away from someone, that means that they either dislike the person or they don't agree with what they're saying. Sometimes you'll have scenarios where a character disagrees with someone but they can't lean away, and in that case you might have them take a defensive pose, like they're crossing their arms over their chest. That's a protective pose. It shields shielding them from the person they're disagreeing with. Now, another thing to keep in mind with the torso is you can also use it to signal confidence or lack of confidence. If you have someone puffing up their chest, that means that they feel confident, they're ready to get something done. On the other hand, if you have someone who's shrinking and maybe they're hunching forward, that means that they feel like they're low status, they don't feel like they're capable of achieving their goals. And number 5 is the arms. And we don't always think about arms in terms of body language, but they can signal a lot of different things. And I think one of the most interesting tidbits I got out of that book, What the Body is Saying, is the idea that when people are shoplifting, their arms tend to tense up. And that's because, first of all, they're nervous, and second of all, they're waiting to snatch something off the shelves and sneak out of the store. So arms can tell us a lot about a person's comfort level. They can also tell us a lot about where they are in terms of like the power dynamics in a certain scenario. So oftentimes you'll see something called arms akimbo. This is when a person plants their hands above their hips. This pose is a powerful pose. It signals confidence. It's something you might have a boss character in your story using, or someone who's trying to establish dominance over another character. Another arm pose is the one where you have your hands laced behind your head, you're leaning back in a chair. This one signals comfort and power. And then one final one I'll throw at you, it's one where you have your arms spread across furniture. This one usually signals confidence, comfort, control. You're marking territory. So I hope this helps. Question of the day: what types of unique body language have you seen in stories? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to support the channel, please pick up a copy of either one of my books and be sure to leave reviews on Amazon. Bad Parts is great if you like small town horror. It's about people trading away their sick and injured body parts in order to get healthy again. And Entry Wounds is great if you like thrillers. It's about a guy who picks up a haunted gun and he cannot put it down until he kills 6 people with it. Also, be sure to check out my other videos. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for me. Share this video with a friend. And as always, remember to keep on writing.